Hello, friend. Thank you so much for joining me over on YouTube. I just want to give you a quick heads up that the training that you're about to see was originally recorded via Facebook Live over on our Facebook page. If you like what you see and would like to learn more, make sure you join us over on Facebook for weekly tips and tricks to help you grow your direct sales business and work smarter, not harder. All right, friends, let's get rolling. I just want to just kind of dig into the topic at hand because we are we are at a time where we're at the beginning of May as of the recording of this video. So we are at the beginning of May and we need to start thinking about summer, friends, because it's right around the corner. I don't know if you've looked at the calendar, but it literally is right around the corner. You guys know what happens in May. There's graduations, there's school wrapping up. I know I've got a graduating senior, so we've got all sorts of the stuff to do. So before I even blink, it's going to be May 31st and we're going to be rolling into June, right? So we need to start thinking about some things now before we get into summer. And I know what some of you guys might be thinking, okay, especially if you're new to direct sales, if you haven't been through a couple of summers, you don't know what happens during the summer. So let me just fill you in, all right? There's this belief that goes around about a summer slump. And the reason I'm using the air quotes is because I don't actually believe in a summer slump. I just believe in working your business to fit the season is what I believe in. And I actually found that those dreaded J months, those June and July, and then even January, those were actually my best months in the business because I put the most amount of time and focused effort into making sure that they were successful. The rest of it kind of flowed, but I really honed in and focused on those J months in that summertime. I've never actually felt a summer slump in my personal business. Obviously, I saw it in my team, my organization, because some people fall into that trap. They think, oh, well, everybody's traveling, so nobody's going to book parties, nobody's shopping, all of those things that everybody's so busy. We get all those things in our head that aren't actually true. So we need to make sure that we're kind of flipping our mindset and we're thinking about this strategically. What are the things that I need to think about as I head into summertime? Because there really are kind of 5 key things that you need to do. So let's talk about that. All right. Okay, so the first one is I want you to plan for the selling season. And what I'm talking about here is I want you to really think about when we think about selling stuff, when you think about selling your products, which products are people focused on from your company, like during the summer? What are those summer like necessities, those summer products that you really need to focus on because that's what your customers are going to be thinking about. So you could offer themed parties around those. You could make sure that you're focusing your VIP group and your page and Instagram and all of those things on those summer products, right? We tend to like forget that they do kind of shift over the summer. Like our activities shift over the summer. We're outside more. We may be traveling. We're out in the sun, something like skincare. We got to have some sunblock, clothing shifts. Like there is a shift that happens during the summer with our activities, especially if you have children that are out of school. Okay. Lots of water activities, lots of trying to stay cool, keep the kids occupied, all those fun things. Our cooking is different. We've got lots of fresh vegetables. We got lots of different things that are happening. So we need to be thinking about how is my customer shifting, and then also shift our content to match that. So again, offering some summer theme parties, featuring summer products in your VIP group on your business page, Instagram, all those like YouTube videos, all those fun things, right? Also think about, aside from like, just aside from doing all those things, make sure you're dressing up your social media channels to reflect summer fun. Don't just keep the same boring stuff. Summer is bright, it's colorful, it's fun, right? We kind of think about it as a fun time. Use summer words like sizzle and hot. So change up your language as well to reflect the season. So really think through, how can I start to promote those summer products? How can I start to show up a little differently for the summer? And number 2, guys, is plan for vacations. And I don't mean your customers' vacations, I mean yours. If you've been around me for a hot minute, you know that I am a firm believer in taking time to work and taking time to play. And in my family, we play hard. So we work hard and we play hard. So I want you to think about planning for your vacations. This does not mean that you have to work the entire time that you are on vacation. But we need to actually take some time to plan for it, because what happens is we're working so close to the line, like we're only booking out, a month, I mean, not a month, but like a week or two in advance, and all of a sudden there's a vacation. So we're not actually taking time to strategically plan around our travel. And if you're not traveling, great. Do you want to take time off during the summer? Do you want to have a staycation? Do you want to take Fridays off? Like, what do you want to do? We need to plan around those things. So what I mean by that is work around your vacation. So what I like to do when I was in the field is I like to bump my activity up before and after my vacation, so I could actually unplug during that vacation time. So that would mean if I wanted, 8 parties a month, um, if I wanted, 8 parties a month, then I would do, 2, and then maybe 3 the next week. Then I've got my vacation week, and then I do 3 the following week. That way my calendar and my income is not suffering, but I'm actually able to take time to unplug. I don't know. This is something I think a lot of business owners in general struggle with, is taking time to reflect and unplug. And you guys, you will get fabulous ideas when your brain is rested. Like, creativity starts to flow, clarity starts to happen. So as you're thinking about your vacations, make sure you're taking time to unplug, plan around them. All right. And this also means scheduling your content ahead of time. So if you are showing up in your VIP group, in your page or Instagram, make sure you're planning those posts out in advance and go ahead and schedule them. There's nothing worse, guys, than being on vacation and you're like heading out to some fun activity and you're like, oh, I forgot to post. I forgot to schedule that post, right? Go ahead and schedule it, guys. Go ahead and schedule it. It's fine. You still want to show up for your people, okay? You still want to show up for your people. So just have some posts that roll. Another thing that you should think about too when you're planning for vacations is get someone else to monitor your social media and your email. Guys, it is okay to have friends that maybe you trade off some time with, or have assistants that help you monitor. You are one person. As your team and your business starts to scale, you can't do everything. It's literally impossible. I have several team members, and they help with monitoring customer questions, answering stuff in our membership group, all those fun things, because I physically can't do all the things, right? And so as your business starts to scale, think about, okay, well, I want to make sure that I'm still showing up, but if someone comments, I don't want to have to check Facebook. Like, I want someone else to check Facebook. So maybe you trade off with a friend. Maybe you have a takeover. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing that we're doing. My members don't know this yet, but during the last week of May, my family and I are going to Disney World. And so we have, instead of me being like, sorry guys, I'm out, we're bringing in guest coaches. And so we've got guest coaches that are going to be scheduled for that whole last week. So they're still getting some really solid training, but that means I can unplug as a business owner and still know that my people are taken care of, right? My members are taken care of. No big deal, right? They're still getting lots of juicy stuff for their business, but I'm able to unplug from mine. Make sense? So it's okay for you guys to unplug. I'm giving you permission. Okay. But get someone else to monitor so you can collaborate with other business owners, have them do a VIP group takeover. They can take over your page. They can do lots of stuff, and it's fresh and it's fun for your people, but then you're not actually having to actively monitor that. Okay. So it does take some planning again up front. We want to plan for those vacations. And then if you plan to work, how do you actually plan to do that? So if you've got a really long extended vacation and you're like, I just can't take off, what things do you need to take with you to make sure that you can work? So one of the things that my family, we have 4 children, and we homeschool. And so my husband also works from home, and we love to travel. Like, we love to travel. We have a fifth wheel, and we like to camp. We'll call it camping. It's really glamping, guys. But over the summer, we used to take a month and we would travel. And so I can't take a month off for my business. I could take some strategic times off for my business, but I can't take a month. And so what I would do is I had to think about, what are all the supplies that I'm going to need while I'm away? Okay. I'm going to need, I remember 1 year I had my printer in our camper. I had paper, I had ink, I had all the things that I was going to need so that I could actually do the things for my business while we were traveling. So just take some time to think about, if I'm going to need to work, will I have Wi-Fi, all that fun stuff. And number 3, plan for your host coaching. So this is something I actually struggled with when we were on these long vacations, because my personal preference, and again, this was just me, this was how it worked best for my family and my situation, was a quick 15-20 minute phone call with my hostesses for the next week. I could knock everything out. I didn't have the back and forth on Messenger. Again, I'm a homeschool mom. I'm busy. I'm helping my kids, doing other stuff. I just didn't have that kind of time. But I could just, do a quick 15-minute call. So, but here was the issue, you guys. I didn't plan for the summer trip. And so what would happen would be, again, I'm gone for a month. I can't not work for a month. And so I would be struggling with a signal. Like I would set up calls and I would have no idea where we would be. We would get to a campground. There was no Wi-Fi. So you need to, how was I supposed to communicate with my hostesses? Had I thought about that in advance, I would have set up some automated systems where I could actually get my hostesses the things that they needed in advance. So I want to make sure my hostesses are prepared, that I'm loving on them and I'm giving them all the things that they need. But I was really struggling to do that. So that's something that you need to think about over the summer. Are you going to be out every Friday? Are you going to play with your kids? Are you doing lots of fun things over the summer? And maybe you need to pivot how you're host coaching to make sure that it actually gets done. Because listen, I know how distracting the summer is. So that's something that you need to think about. How can I pivot, or do I need to pivot, or is everything good? Do I have it in a way where I'm not going to get distracted? I'm not going to forget, right? Because again, we want to make sure that our hostesses are taken care of. Number 4 is plan for team training. So this is also something that came up over the summer, where I assumed I would have Wi-Fi and be able to jump on a Zoom call or a live with my team. And that did not happen. I remember specifically one time we were up on the top of a mountain, and anytime we got away from the very top of the mountain, signal was gone. We were in the trees. We got zero signal. And so when we were actually at the campground, so I had to go take the car and go to the top of the mountain and sit there with my laptop on my hotspot. So think about your team training. Is there something you need to pivot if you're going to be gone, or if you're going to be, do you need to change the date? Do you need to change the time? Go ahead and plan out these things in advance so your team knows what's going on, so you have a clear plan of how you're going to support your team over the summer. So again, thinking about, am I going to be available? Am I going to have Wi-Fi? Does this date really work? Does this time really work? So think about those things as you're thinking about how you're supporting your team. Coaching calls are another thing. Like, how are you going to do that? And then the other thing, guys, the last thing is plan for cancellations. So all those things that I mentioned, we're all busy over the summer. We're all busy all year. Let's just be real. But summer, we tend to get, schedules get looser. I know our routine gets really loose. So plan for those cancellations. And what I mean by that is bump your schedule. So if I normally want to submit 8 parties in a month, I'm going to actually book 12. Okay, maybe even 14, because I want to make sure that if my hostess has a last minute vacation, or she's just MIA because she's at the pool and distracted by sunscreen and beach towels, that I don't mess with my income. I don't mess with my recruiting. I don't mess with my selling. Make sense? So plan for those cancellations, because they will likely happen. And here's what I always say, you guys: if you overbook yourself, what is the worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is all of them hold and you have a stellar paycheck and you just funded your summer vacation, right? Or your summer fun, right? So it's okay if you overbook. So go ahead and plan for that now as you're starting to book June and July, which is where you should be focusing your time. Okay. Hopefully you already have May booked. Go ahead and bump those schedules up just a little bit more than you're comfortable with, so that you can make sure you're not coming out of the gate in August and September with a less than stellar business. Because everything you do, I know you guys have heard me talk about this 30, 60, 90 rule. Everything you do affects your business, or don't do, affects your business 30, 60, and 90 days from now. So if I go into June with a minimal schedule because of summer fun, and I'm already distracted by all the sunscreen and beach towels, then I'm going to come out in August and September really having to start over. And that's not a fun place to be. It's just not. We don't want to do that. We want to hit the ground running as we come into the fall selling season for most people. Okay, so a couple of things that you want to think about as you're starting to think about, what does my summer look like? What am I doing? What are my plans? Am I unplugging? Am I going on vacation? What am I doing? So plan for the season, the selling season. Think about those trending things. What are my people thinking about? Let me cater my content to that. Okay. Plan for vacations. Okay, so work around those vacations. Plan for host coaching. How am I going to talk to my hostesses? am I going to be at the pool? Am I going to have the Wi-Fi? Am I going to have the tools to do that? Plan for your team support and team training. Okay. And then the last thing is plan for those cancellations, because they will happen most likely. Okay. They will happen most likely, and you don't want to be caught by surprise. All right, friends. Bye, guys.